So my name's Aldiva. I go by Ali for short. Most of you already know who I am. Today I actually created something for you guys to take home with you, and it's a sales playbook to kind of teach you guys how to sell with confidence, right? Selling is helping the right person make a clear and confident decision, okay? So this workbook is designed to help you guys with some of your sales operating systems. I did leave blank spaces so you could write things in that's personal to you, that you feel you could use to help you. If you want to leave this blank and make copies of it, so you could, do day 1 I started here, day 30 I started here. You guys can do that too. So then how to use this playbook. You want to complete the worksheets during the seminar if you choose to. Keep your language neutral and true to your own personality. Review your trackers weekly. Update your scripts based on real conversations. You want to measure your activity, conversion, and revenue to fit every client. So we're going to be talking about a sales mindset and confidence, your ideal customer and buying psychology, value proposition and messaging, conversations, objections, and closing, client fit and boundaries, tracking, referrals, and action plans. So before we get started, there is a sales confidence self-assessment. I want you guys to take a minute and complete this. And then once you're done, below, I want you to write down which 2 ratings would make the greatest difference if you improved them. So the skills are, for those of you watching, is explaining my value, and rate yourselves as you're watching this. Starting sales conversations, asking discovery questions, discussing price, handling objections, asking for the sale, following up, and protecting your own boundaries. And I'm not going to ask them to tell me because, yes, that's private and personal. So selling is serving, okay? A professional salesperson diagnoses before prescribing. So you guys are your own doctors to your own service. Confidence grows when you know your offer and your customer. Your job is not to convince everyone. It's to identify alignment. A clear no protects time for the right yes. So let's discuss this. Why is it your job not to convince everyone?
Sometimes what you have to offer is not for everybody.
Correct. And sometimes you have red flag clients who, do you want them in your business? Do you want to be dealing with them the entire time? Right? You have some clients who are just not a good fit. And then a clear no protects your time for the right yes. Go ahead.
What do you mean, do you want to deal with them?
What I mean is, if I have a client who comes in and they're a know-it-all, everything I said, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Well, sounds like you already know what you're doing. Continue. Why am I going to convince them to hire me if they already know? Because if they're that type of client, anything I do, they're going to question me and challenge me on. So why would I take them on? You know what I mean? And then that's why a clear no protects your time for the right yes. Because what do those 2 letters N-O mean?
Not interested.
No. New opportunity. So one no is a new opportunity for the right yes. So don't ever take a no as discouragement. take it as a pivot to get to where you want to be. And then limiting belief reset. So if I'm coming to you and I'm selling you right now, or you guys are coming to me and you're selling me, how would you feel if my selling felt like it's too pushy? Would you want to buy? How would you feel if I thought, I'm going to talk to them, but people are going to reject me. I don't know if I want to talk to them. Do I sound like I'm confident in what I'm doing? What about my price is too high? Is your price too high? Or is that client not right for your price point? I'm not experienced enough. Again, if you have a client who's a know-it-all, maybe you're not experienced enough for that client, but you have plenty of other people that you are experienced enough for. So never let your own limiting beliefs stop you. I'm going to tell you guys, 11 years ago, I was in these limited belief system. And Deanna, I think, knows this about me, because when I met her, I think I was going through this. I would go to events, and I'd be the one in the corner with my head down, waiting for anyone to come up to me, because I wasn't ready to go up to them. And I used to think, what if I say the wrong thing? What if they judge me? What if they're smarter than me? And I would psych myself out. And then I began talking to people, and I'm like, I know more than them. What am I afraid of? And it began building up my system, right? So it's okay to not know all the answers, but it's more important to put your best foot forward. Now I look for people in the room who are like me, standing in the corner, and I go up to them and I go, hey, what do you do? Oh, let me connect you with this person. They'd be a great power partner for you. Because then it helps them come out of their shell, because I know what it's like to be the scared person in the corner. And now I'm doing public speaking. Who would have thought?
That's good.
But it's our own intimidation that stops us, and it shouldn't be stopping us. So your sales strengths. I want you guys to think about, build from what already works for you. So relationship building, problem solving, industry knowledge, communication, persistence. So I want you guys to think about, what's your strongest sales advantage? Me, I'm a problem solver. It's funny, my employees always tell me, you're not FICO diva, you should be fix-it diva, because you fix everyone's problems. Which I'm like, okay, it fits. But you guys need to think about, what's your strength? What is it that you give that other people don't? You do hair. How many hairstylists just slap on extensions and they don't even care? But you have a compassionate side to you. So if you're there and you're talking to your customer and seeing what they need and what they want, now they're like, oh, she cares. That's valuable. Someone who just has you in and out, like the doctor's office, that's not care. But you taking the time to speak to someone, that's care. And that brings value to you and your business. So confidence preparation checklist. So know your offer, know your pricing, and know your boundaries. Why do I say boundaries? Because people will sometimes try to lower your price. You need to protect your price. You guys know I do credit repair also. I don't charge an arm, a leg, a toe, and a foot. But there's people out there, a few counties over, charging $3,000, and people are paying it. So just because your offer or your price point isn't for everybody, but it's for the right people. So that's why you never let a no discourage you, because that person's no is a yes for someone else. Make sense? Practice your opening and closing questions. So you're selling herbal medicine. What's the number one objection you get?
It's too expensive.
Right. So how do you overcome that? You have to look at the feature and the benefit. If we lead with price, like when people call me and they go, how much is it going to cost me to fix my credit? I will never answer that question. My question is always, what's going on with your credit? What's currently happening in your life? Because I want them to go back to reality before I just shoot out a price. Because if you just shoot out a price, they just kick that tire, okay, thanks, they hang up. You have no opportunity to figure out what's going on. And to even see if they're a good fit for you. Right? Prepare examples, proof, client stories. Like you were just talking about how much your herbal medicine has helped improve your life. I'm sure you have other clients with the same testimonies. You're going to have clients who love their hair. You're going to have clients who love the detail in their cars. You're going to have clients who love what you're creating. You know, get people to say what they're doing and what they love and what they appreciate about your product, because that's going to be your testimony. Right? Anticipate likely objections. We're all going to have objections. And that's okay, because sometimes objections is our reason to decline a client. You know, if we start seeing too many red flags during the interview phase, do we really want to keep them on as a client? Exactly. Because otherwise they're going to be a red flag the entire process. Right? Decide your next step and options before the conversation. So when people call you, listen to what they're saying. Listen to how they react. Listen to what they're already feeding you with. Listen to what their pain point is. Don't just try to sell. That's where I feel that people make mistakes, is they're too salesy. They're too focused on, I'm the best and this is why you gotta buy from me. Okay, what's in it for me if I buy from you? I'm the one giving you my money, right?
So is the best strategy to let them know the value of the product and more than salesy? I think the value is they're going to sell itself.
Exactly, because once they understand the value, then it makes them want the product. And if they can't afford it, that's okay. When you're ready, come back, I'll be here. So be careful with that.
Do you think doing those discounts, people kind of get confused, well, it's probably not that great, that's why they're dropping it down?
No, what they do is you gave them a discount once, now when they come back and now you try to charge them full price, well, last time you charged me this.
And then you kind of you don't have a boundary with that client anymore.
Now, can you create a coupon, a one-time coupon? Of course. And that way they know, hey, I had a coupon, I got a discount. Regular price is, use this coupon, get 50 bucks off or 10 bucks off, whatever you guys want to give. But that way it's not a discount. It's something they obtained, they handed over to get the discount. It's all in psychology. So why do people buy? Is it because they currently have a problem and they want a relief from a problem? Is it because they want to do a movement towards a desired result? Is it because they trust in the provider?
That's a good one.
Is it because they know what the clarity is in the next step? And is it because the confidence that you showed them gives them value that exceeds the cost? When you think about it that way, it's like, how many times have you guys bought something you didn't need because you're like, this is a deal? We've all been there, done that. So your ideal customer snapshot, this is for you personally, okay? You want to consider their role, the industry that they're in, the location, business or household size, income revenue range, decision maker, their values. Decision maker is big, especially if you guys have people that say, I need to talk to my spouse, and they don't bring their spouse with them. Why didn't Mr. and Mrs. Spouse come along? That is a waste of time, because now they just gave themselves an out, and you have no control. That's why sometimes if you're married, you guys sometimes hear people say, if your spouse isn't there, I won't meet with you. Mm-hmm. That's why. Because if it takes two to tango, the two better be there to tango. Right? Their values. Their preferred communication. People nowadays don't like to answer the phone. They love texting. So find out, what's your preferred communication? Best fit characteristics. Who's your ideal client? Who makes sense for you? I used to say anybody with bad credit. Now it's like, no, because some people with bad credit aren't ready to make that change. And that's okay, that's their decision. But some people are now motivated to buy a home. Some people are trying to get into law enforcement or into the government. Some people are trying to get into something where their credit need to be improved is a need. Some people are trying to improve a financial situation in their life, and that's okay. But then there's some people who are not ready for that. So stop saying that everybody and anybody is my client. Define who's your ideal client. And it's going to help you more, because that's going to become your targeted audience. So customer pain points. This is something else you guys can do on your own. It says here, pain point number 1. What are your customers' exact words? What is the cost of doing nothing? Because once you write these down and you figure out this is the pain point, I'm going to pick on you. My car is dirty. My Mazda really needs you right now, by the way. My car is dirty. Customers' exact words. My Mazda really needs you right now. Cost of doing nothing, I'm going to drive a dirty car until you come and help me with it. You know what I mean? It's like figuring out what are the pain points in everything. What are your customers' words? And you're going to know that by writing it down. When you're on the phone with a customer, just have a little notepad. Anything that registers what they're saying, this is my pain point. Me, I can't stand my naturally curly hair. How can you make it better? I know you can't, because God gave it to me this way, but you could put extensions in it, you know. Make more of it, you know. But there's pain points in all of us. So if we take little notes and remember what those pain points are, then it helps us to remind our client what's the cost of doing nothing. They stay in the same situation that they're in. Okay. Customers' goals and desires, outcomes. So what's their current situation? What's the desired income? How success measured. So when you guys start like writing things down and using this sheet and figuring out this is their situation, you've got herbal medicine. They have the achy breakies, the psychotic nerve. I know it's sciatic, but I call it psychotic because it drives you psycho. The desired income is to feel better. And how success measured? I can move, I can dance, I'm ready to go.
Yep.
You know? So it's things to think about. Buying triggers. So what's a trigger for a customer? I have an urgent problem. What urgent problem can I fix for you today? How I recognize it. What's my helpful response? Does the client have a deadline or an event? Can I truly accommodate that deadline and event? What's the financial impact? Is it in their budget? I have clients right now who are currently 30 days behind, 60 days behind on their credit cards. Would I be doing them a service to take them on as a client? No. I rather what they're going to pay me go to paying that debt, bring that debt current, and then come and see me. Other people will just sign them up, knowing that they're not doing that client a service. So it's things to think about. Life or business change. Or were they a referral? Were they recommended? Maybe they went to someone in the same field as you, but their previous solution failed. They're telling you, I went to this person, they left a mess, they did something wrong. Bless you. How do I recognize that? By listening. What's going to be your helpful response? Not bad-mouthing the competitor. By being sympathetic. I'm so sorry you had that experience. If you use me, this is what we do that's different. But you don't have to talk bad about the other person. So a customer journey map. When it comes to customers, you need to think about the awareness, the research, evaluate, the purchase, and getting a referral. So with awareness, what's the customer question? The research, what's the customer question? To evaluate, you have to evaluate the customer's question. How can you best support your customers' questions? How can you get them to the purchase point if they're a good fit for you? And then at the end, how do you ask them for a referral? So the customer interview guide is, what problem were you trying to solve? What have you already tried? So these are things for you guys to ask your customer. What problem were you trying to solve? What? So going back when you guys are interviewing your customers, what problem were you trying to solve? Ask them that. What have you already tried? What made you decide to act? What concerns almost stopped you? What results mattered the most? And how would you describe the value to someone else? What happens if I'm asking you these questions? What does it make you guys think?
That you care.
And not only that, I'm listening. And also, wow, they really want to know what I need. This is awesome. They're not just trying to sell me something. By us not trying to sell, we sell. So your core offer, this is again for you guys personal, but you need to look at your offer element. So what's your offer name? What does it mean? Who's your ideal customer? What's their definition? What problem can your offer solve? What's the definition? What are your deliverables? How long does it take to get your product? What's the timeline? What's the price range? What's the primary result? And what is not included? Because not everything's included, right? Now here's my favorite words: features and benefits. A lot of us buy based on price, of course, but based on features and benefits. We look to see what features are available and what are the benefits to me for me to say, I see the value in what you're offering to me, right? So you guys need to figure out with what you do, what are your strongest features? What does that feature do? And what's the customer benefit? If you can explain that in a nutshell, customers will buy.
Can you repeat that again?
Yeah. So if you look at the features and what does the feature do and how it benefits the customer, once you figure out what that is and put everything into a nutshell, it's easier for the customer to buy. Because everybody wants to know what's in it for me. What's the feature and benefit? Why are you better than the person across the street? I always say, I don't know anything about the person across the street, but this is what I do. If you want to go look at other people, you're more than welcome to. Because the minute I sit there and I go, I'm the best and I've been doing this 11 years and da-da-da, I just shut that person off. But the minute I say you're free to go, now they're like, no, 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 I don't want to go. I want to stay here. You know, so you have to think about that. That's why saying no is sometimes better than saying yes. So unique value proposition is, I want you guys to think about, this is based on value. Who you help, the problem that you are solving, the solution that you're providing, the result that they receive, and the differentiator that makes your approach valuable. So if you see here, there's a little prompt that says, I help blank solve blank by blank so they can blank. So you guys need to figure out what are your prompts. I help improve people's credit scores by solving their financial issues, by listening and educating them so they can be empowered. So once you guys figure out what those words are for your industry, it's going to help you. And you could even use it as an advertising technique also.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I can copy that.
Of course. Of course. So 30-second elevator pitch, that's really important too. Because how many of you go, my name is Allie and I help fix credit and I work with everybody. And they're like, okay. Okay, nice to meet you. My name is Bob and this is what I do, right? But if we can go, I help my ideal customer who has this problem by doing this solution so they can put in the result. Unlike what their problem is, I'm different because I do this. Right? So if you guys can figure out what's a 30-second elevator speech for your own industry using this, it helps you. So I help clients I help clients improve their credit who are currently in financial distress by educating them so they can improve their financial situation. Unlike people who are just sitting by waiting, I love to educate, mentor, and encourage them to go beyond what they already know. Now someone's like, well, tell me more. So when you think about, it's all about a play on words, right? So when you guys think about that, it's not, you're not just selling yourself, you're showing them that you're the expert in the field that you're in. And you're making them feel comfortable to talk to you. And now they're like, well, tell me more. What else do you do? That's interesting. I'd like to learn more. And it's not just like, I fix credit. Oh, I got good credit, thanks. And they walk away. People with good credit still need credit education. So story selling framework. You know, think about what was happening, what problem or risk existed, what did you provide, what changed, and what next step fits the listener. So what was happening? This client came in, they were currently being sued by a creditor. What was the problem or risk existed? If they ignore this, they were going to get a judgment, and then they were going to have 10 years to collect the debt. What did you provide? I looked into their situation, and we picked up the phone and we called the creditor and we made a settlement offer. What changed? They were no longer being sued. What next steps fits the listener? Now they know how to handle these situations, and they're not afraid because now they know they can call the creditor and they could do it themselves. You just provided value based on your industry. Are they afraid to call themselves? Sometimes they're like, well, I don't want to call. I want you to do it. Let's talk about that. Or you know what? No, I could do it myself. Great, do it. You know, that way it doesn't seem like you're the one that's always trying to get them to keep them. Because sometimes they'll go, but they'll tell 10 other people about the amazing experience they just had with you. And those 10 other people will say, hey, you just helped John Doe, and now I'm coming back because he told me to come to you.
Yep.
You know? So your proof and credibility worksheet, you want to get client testimonials, customer testimonials. And if they don't want you to use their name, use their initials. No one's going to know it's them but you. Do a case study. If you have any credentials or licenses for the industry that you're in, how many years of experience? I mean, shoot, I've been dealing with credit since I was 8 years old because my parents didn't speak any English. I had to do everything for them. Any awards or recognitions? What's your process or your guarantee? You know, like unfortunately in credit repair, we're not allowed to promise or guarantee anything. And I tell my clients that. I control my work. I don't control how they respond.
That's the same in our industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I set the expectation that we control our work, but we don't control how your creditors respond. Just like if you do a perm and you don't wait 24 hours to wash your hair, is that perm solution going to fall out? Absolutely. Are you going to ruin your curls? Absolutely. So what would be the process or guarantee? I can't guarantee because I don't know how you're going to control your hair when you get home. So setting those expectations, right? Portfolio demonstration. So if you guys have anything that you can show before or after, I don't know if you have any that are weight loss supplements, but this is Jane Doe 30 days ago and this is Jane Doe today. They'll speak volumes, you know? And always put on there results not typical, because not everyone's body's going to react the same way. So pricing with confidence, you need to know your minimum acceptable price. Explain outcomes before price. Price should always be your last thing you're talking about. Because the minute you lead with price, you lose the customer. They just kick the tire and they walked out the door. Overstructure your choices when appropriate. Avoid apologizing for your price. Sometimes I have people say, well, Allie, I can go over here and they're only going to charge me this much. Great, you should go. Go check them out. But if they don't ask you all the questions I asked you, and you're comfortable with the price, do it. Use discounts with a clear and business reason, and that's why I said use coupons instead of discounts. Okay? Because discounts, then people expect it all the time. If it's a coupon, it's one-time use only. Yeah. So the sales process is you're going to prospect, you're going to connect, you're going to discover what the problem is that needs to be fixed. You're going to present the solution. You're going to close if they're an ideal client for you, and you're going to follow up. Don't ever just take someone's money and not follow up. Even a simple, hi, I'm just checking in on you. How are things going? Goes a long way instead of, oh yeah, I paid them, I never heard from them again. You know? Your prospecting plan, referrals, getting referrals from anyone. Referrals can be from anyone. Going to networking events. Social media is a big one. Email blasts, you could even use constant contact. It is there is a fee associated with it, but it's an easy way to do it. Phone, they do have to opt in for you to text. So you guys need to know that. And any community events that you can be a part of, do it. Because community events give you an opportunity to meet people and network with them. So opening the conversation, you want to be warm and direct. Set a simple agenda. Don't overwhelm them with word vomit, because sometimes we're so excited because someone's in front of us and we just want to say what we can do and go bleh. But if we forget to listen, the customer's mind shuts down. Think of you on social media. Typically, we can read something or we're on social media for maybe 5 minutes. But how long do we watch videos, honestly? The first 30 seconds and we're flipping, right? So if your pitch is long, their brain starts going like Charlie Brown, wah, 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 and it starts shutting down. Ask for permission to explore needs. So sometimes people are telling me stories and I'll be like, can I ask you a question? And if they say yes, I'll be like, from what you're telling me, I'm hearing A, B, C, and D. Am I understanding it correctly or am I missing something? Because then they're like, no, you're dead on. Or no, you're missing this. So now I reiterated what I'm hearing and I'm giving them a reason to help me correct something in case I misunderstood. Avoid delivering a full presentation too early. Their brain is not ready for that. They haven't committed to you yet. Listen for problems, priorities, and urgency. So I want you guys, when you're home, to think about what would be a great opening statement for what you guys do based on opening the conversation. So discovery questions. As you ask these questions, take notes, mental notes, write down notes of what your clients are saying. What prompted you to call me today? What prompted you to explore this now? What's your biggest challenge? What have you already tried? What would an ideal result look like to you? What happens if nothing changes? Who else is involved in the decision? What timeline are you working with? What budget or investment range is realistic? Because with that last question right there, they already come in with a number here and your price is here, you already know they're not ideal for you. Now, do you cut them short? No, because maybe they think this is where you should be, but once they hear you, now they're willing to come up, or you're really there, this is really where their budget is. Then they're not the ideal fit for you. Don't discount your services because of that. So active listening notes. So this is just a mental thing for you guys, is what did I hear? What it may mean, and ask questions to clarify. So you want to listen for pain, priority, urgency, trust, the decision process, budget, and the desired income. Because if you guys pay attention to all these pain points, it helps you meet the client's expectations simply by listening.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah. So presenting the solution. Restate the customer's priority. So based on what I hear today, you just told me this and this and this. Present only the most relevant solution to their problem. Explain the benefits in the customer's language. Confirm that you understood, and invite questions before discussing the next steps. By doing that, what are you guys doing? You're making the customer think about, this is what I'm going through, this is what I need resolved, this is what I need fixed, before you give them a price. So the word LACE, objection framework. So LACE is listen, acknowledge, clarify, and explain. Okay? So when you listen, the purpose is not to interrupt the client. When you acknowledge, the purpose is to show understanding without surrendering value. When you clarify, the purpose is to find the real concern. And when you explain, you want to respond with relevance and proof. Okay? Because that's what brings value. The objection script. Okay. Client says, first objection number one, it's too expensive. How would you answer that? I understand that budget matters. Compared to what you expected, what feels high to you? Review the cost of the problem. So you want to reconnect by reviewing the cost of the problem and desired income, and adjust the scope of work or payment structure only when appropriate. Okay, so sometimes maybe I don't want to do everything that you're offering, but I just want this part. Okay, well, how much does this part cost? As opposed to giving you everything. Because maybe if you're happy with this, because now they want to test the water and make sure they like you, then they'll be ready to upgrade. So, and then the next one is, I need to think about it. We all love that one. Well, you could ask them, what specifically would you like to think about? Is the concern the fit, the timing, the price, or something else? Figure out what's making them have to think about it. 90% of the time, it's the price. 90%. What information would help you make a confident decision? And agree on a specific follow-up date and next action. Well, it's okay that you want to think about it. Can I give you a call tomorrow? Can I give you a call by Monday? When's a good date and time? Let me schedule you in now for me to follow up with you. If they commit to that, they're usually ready to make a decision. If they're like, no, I'll call you when I'm ready, you know they're not ready. Okay. Another objection, I'm just shopping around. Okay, that makes sense. What criteria will you use to compare options if you're shopping around? Clarify your priorities and non-negotiables. You want to state your differentiators without criticizing competitors. Invite the prospect to compare, value, support the outcome, and not price alone. So my natural response is always, okay, well, what else are you looking for? If they tell me, well, I need guaranteed results, I want everything done in 30 days. I understand that. However, are you aware that the credit bureaus themselves don't always respond in 30 days? And if someone tells you, I promise and I guarantee that in 90 days this will be done, you better run. Because number one, that's illegal. And number two, that's unethical. They're just trying to get you in the door. But if you want to go ahead and explore that and see what they tell you, you are more than free to do so. So I just educated them. I just gave them red flags to look out for, but I still said, go ahead. Right? So your closing techniques, a technique could be a trial close depending on if your business allows for a trial. So how does this sound so far? Saying that gives you a test readiness. How does that sound so far? Oh, it sounds good, or well, I'm still not sure. Well, still not sure still means I didn't sell you yet. That sounds good so far means you're interested, right? Summary close. So based on your goals, this covers, and now you're reinforcing what you guys have discussed. An alternative choice. Would Tuesday or Thursday work? You're now choosing the next step and you're getting them to commit to the next step. Assumption close. Let's complete the agreement. That's a high alignment. That's also sometimes a direct close. Are you ready? Let's get started today. And sometimes people need that little push, but not everyone likes it. A question close. What would keep us from moving forward today? Well, I really don't have the money to start today. That's okay. When is a good start day for you? Well, I really need to talk to my wife. Okay, well, how would your wife feel about this situation? Would she be supportive? Would she have any questions about it? How would your wife feel if you moved forward today? Well, little Timmy's got to go to school, and I got to take him to soccer practice in 10 minutes. Great, it takes me 2 minutes to type this up. Are you ready? You know what I mean? There's just different ways to do it. And then referral close. You know, I understand that you're not ready to start with me today, but do you have any friends, family, or exes who are? I always include the exes because we got to love them. You know? So, closing conversation planner, you want to focus on what's the primary customer goal, the best fit offer, the proof that you have to share with them, know your likely objection, the response to your likely objection, your exact closing question, next step options, and your follow-up date. Okay? Your follow-up system, always follow up when promised. Reference the customer stated goal. Hey, when I met you last week, you told me that you were interested in A, B, C, and D. How's that coming along? Are you ready to move forward with that? That way they're like, oh, they remembered. Add useful information, not only checking in. Use a clear call to action, and know when to close the loop and move on. If they keep wasting your time, close that loop, move on. When they're ready for you, they will pick up the phone and call. If they decide that they're ready for you. This one here is my philosophy. I tell my employees this all the time. Not all money's good money. If they're a red flag during the interview, I tell them do not sign them up. And if you sign them up, they're going to be your problem the entire duration. I make my employees very sensitive as to who we're going to take on as a client. It has to be a client that we know we can help. It has to be a client that sees the benefit in what we do. It has to be a client who is willing to do the work that's required of them. While we're taking care of the negative, they have to take care of the positive. So it's important to collaborate. Poor fit work consumes your time and energy that you could be dedicating to someone else who's ready to go.
Poor what?
Poor fit work consumes your time and energy. Chronic discounts weaken your margins and expectations. Boundary violations create delivery risk. Late payments and scope creep damage your cash flow. The best client values the result and respects your process. In here, I wrote down something I want you guys to do at home. A client behavior I will no longer accept is. Write it down and know, so that when you guys are speaking to someone, you know who your red flags are so you can avoid them. Okay? Red flags and green flags. A red flag is repeated pressure for free work. I am not a nonprofit. Green flags, they value your expertise. Red flag, they have late or evasive payment behavior. Green flags, they communicate clearly. Red flags, they use disrespectful form of communication. Green flags, they respect your boundaries. A red flag, they're unclear decision authority. Green flags, they can make or influence decisions. A red flag, the constant scope changes. Green flags, agree to defined scope. Red flags, they have unrealistic outcome demands. Green flags, they have realistic expectations. Red flags, they only care about the lowest price. Green flags, they evaluate the total value that you're bringing to the table. So a client fit scorecard, this is also something for you guys to use on your own. And if you notice, there's a weight of 1 to 5 in each category. You're going to score it 1 to 5 in each category, and you're going to look at your weighted scores. Okay, so use the objective criteria before saying yes. The problem matches your expertise. They value the result. The budget is appropriate. The timeline is realistic. The communication is respectful. The decision process is clear. Scope is manageable, and payment risk is acceptable. So once you guys are talking to people, use this client fit scorecard, kind of figure out where do they fit on the level of 1 to 5. Are they an ideal client for you?
And then hand it to them.
No, that's private information. That's for you only. God, could you imagine? So the scope, boundaries, and expectations. You want to define your deliverables and exclusions. Put any changes and all changes in writing, even a simple email to reiterate, today we discussed ABC, we're going to do ABC, and this is it. Set communication hours and response expectations. Don't be calling me at 2 a.m. because I am going to be looking at the back of my eyelids. State payment terms clearly. And pause work when agreed conditions are not met. So, and on here, you also can fill this in. One boundary I need to communicate more clearly is, and only you guys know what your boundary is. Referral strategy, you always want to ask, for referrals, what's their relationship? What would be an ideal introduction to that referral? And who would be the next contact? Your referral requests, I'm glad this helped. Who else do you know that can benefit from this? Most of my business grows through introductions. Who do you feel comfortable connecting me with so that I can reach out? May I send you a short message you can forward? Just simple things. I also gave you guys a daily sales activity tracker. It has the date, who the new contact is, when you followed up, if you had a meeting, any proposals, any sales, and how much it landed you if they said yes. So it's just something fun that you guys can use. And your weekly accountability planner. So your weekly goal, your target, your actual, and the lesson. So your new contacts, follow-ups, appointments, your proposals, sales, and revenue. You also need to focus on what worked, what will I stop, what will I start, or what will I continue? Because if you start documenting these things, you're going to start seeing patterns. And it's going to help you shift and pivot. How many of you here know what a KPI is? It's your key performance indicator. It tracks your performance, measures progress towards strategic revenue goals. Okay, so the metric is lead to meeting rate. The formula is meetings divided by leads. The metric is meeting to proposal rate. So the formula is proposals divided by meetings. This is going to let you see how many people did I meet, how many people did I close. Do I close 2 out of 15, or do I close 5 out of 10? Or do I close 9 out of 9? It's going to give you an idea, okay? Your close rate is sales divided by proposals. That's your closing rate. Your average sale is your revenue divided by your sales. Pipeline value is your total active opportunities. Referral rate, how many referrals did you get divided by total leads? Client fit rate, what are your good fit clients divided by how many sales you got? So these are all different ways to think about things. Because as business owners, what are we focused on?
Sales. Money.
The money, right? But how do we get to the money? And is the money good money? So in a sales funnel, there's awareness, interest, consideration, decision-making, and loyalty. So here I also gave you guys a 30-day sales action plan. So week 1, clarify. Who's your primary focus, your key actions, and your measure of success. Week 2, practice. Primary focus, key actions, measure of success. Week 3, prospect. And week 4, improve. So choose one small sales action you'll complete even on busy days. And then this is your personal sales playbook. So it has the playbook element and what is your standard. So who's your ideal customer? What's your core offer? What's your value proposition? What's your elevator pitch? What's your top discovery questions? What is your pricing boundary? What is your objection framework? What's your closing question? What's your follow-up cadence? What is your client fit minimum? And what's your weekly activity targets? And last but not least, commitment and next steps. So complete one sales building action every business day. Review your numbers weekly without judgment. Practice your scripts until they sound natural. Protect your value and choose aligned customers. Celebrate progress and improve the system.